Okay, so the numerical is something like this. A superheated steam is expanded from a pressure of 20 bar to zero point 0.1 bar in a turbine. The initial temperature of the steam is 350 degrees Celsius, and at a pressure of 1.6 bar, the steam is found to be just dry and saturated. It's not dry, it is dry and saturated. And at zero point 0.1 bar, it is zero point 0.9 dry. Sketch the Ts and Hs diagram and calculate the total enthalpy drop with isentropic expansion between the initial and final pressure states, the actual enthalpy drop, and the percentage increase in the volume of the steam at the exhaust due to losses. Okay, so the same problem we can solve. Let's try to solve using the Molière chart. Maybe let's use a Molière chart. Before that, we'll try to put the Hs and Ts diagram. Okay, so this is my Hs diagram. To the side, I'll put the Ts diagram also. So I have my Hs diagram and the Ts diagram. Fine. Anyhow, see, this is a steam, so I need to put a dome. See, any HS diagram, the dome is more flatter, and for the TS diagram, the dome is something like this. This is how it is. So the only difference what I could see. Now, the condition one, what they are given that it's a 20 bar. Okay, the initial temperature of steam is 3350 degrees Celsius. You go to your steam tables. Okay, go to your steam tables and check for the saturation temperature. If the saturation temperature is less than your 350 degrees Celsius, so the condition of the steam is superheated. So now for 20 bar, 350 degrees is much above your saturation temperature. So if I try to put a corresponding maybe a temperature constant temperature line, it will be going something like this. Okay, it will be going something like this. This is your three temperature is equal to 350 degrees centigrade Celsius line. And if I try to draw the constant pressure lines, okay, so the pressure lines will be going something like this. Suppose this is my pressure lines, will be going like this. This is for maybe for a 20 bar. So I may be having one more pressure which is of 1.6 bar. Let it be go or something like this. This is for 1.6 bar, and I have a pressure for zero point 0.1 bar. So the 0.1 bar is something like this. I have three pressure curves. Now the 0.1 actually. So where I am looking at actually, this is your 20 bar curve. That is P is equal to 20 bar. This is P is equal to 1.6. This is P is equal to 0.1. Okay. So now if I go on isentropic expansion, so I have to start with this 0.1. I have to simply drop a vertical line. Okay, which has to pass through your, maybe if I call this as maybe this is your point 2. Okay, if we call this as the final is 2. Somewhere in between it's found to be dry saturated. That's a maybe in between condition there. Okay, now if I look at the actual condition, okay, if I look at the actual condition, they are telling that at this particular point, okay, it is at 1.6 bar, it is just dry saturated. That is, if I draw an actual line like this, use a different color for that, use green color. Okay, that means it is something like dry saturated. At this particular point, it is just touching this. This is dry saturated. And at this particular point, if I call this as 2, the X is actually, it is either 10% wet or 90%. That's the meaning of it. So it's starting at the, maybe it is a superheated condition steam at the entry, and at the exit it is 0.9, but at a pressure of 1.6 bar, it is dry saturated. So this is the condition what they are giving. So intermediate is not 2 or 3. So it's a single stage turbine, but in between, so just to help you to draw the curve, actually, they're telling that at a pressure of 1.6 bar, it is just dry saturated. The same thing I can show it on your TS diagram also. So what I will do actually, let's try to draw the constant pressure lines. So this is your, if I try to draw this line, so it will be going something like this. So I can have one more line something like this, and I can have one more line which is going like this. Okay. So now this is a dry saturated superheated condition at point 1. So this is the thing 1 actually. So from this particular point and passing to this particular point, I can draw a straight line. You can just draw a straight line. Okay. It will be a simple straight line for that condition. So it's from 1 going like this, and your actual, I can go in such a way that it is 0.9. See, this is my actually 1 to 2. That is my actual. So if I go for a isentropic condition, that is the thing. What I'm going to do, it is actually 1 to 2 dash. Actually. So 1, this is your 2 dash. And at this particular point, it is once again dry saturated, and here is dry saturated. Now, if I try to draw an actual condition, so it will be something like this. So the actual condition will be something like this actually. So it is dry saturated at this particular point on an actual condition, and it is 0.9 dry at 0.2. So this is your P is equal to 10 bar, P is equal to 1.6 bar, P is equal to 0.1 bar. So this is how you can draw your HS and TS diagram. Okay. Now you go to your Mollier chart. Go to your Mollier chart and tell me the values. At a pressure of 20 bar and 350 degrees Celsius. Okay. From the Mollier chart. From the Mollier chart. From the Mollier chart. That is at the point enthalpy 1. That is at the pressure of 20 bar and 350 degrees Celsius. So this intersection point. So this intersection point, you draw a vertical line, you will get your H1. Okay. Now similarly, at this particular point, so you draw a vertical line, sorry, horizontal line, you will get your H2, and at this particular point, you will get your H2 dash. So can anyone tell me these values? H1, H2, and H2 dash. Please look into your Mollier diagram and tell me the values.
H1 is 3130, sir.
3130, fine. 3130 kilojoules per kg. What about H2?
H2 dash is 2270.
2270. 2270 kilojoules per kg. What about H2? It will be more than that. Around 2300 something.
H2 is 2695.
2695. So others, what others are doing? So can someone verify this particular values? Three one three zero 2695 and 2270. So 0.1 bar. Don't get confused. It's 0.1 bar or 0.01 megapascals. You'll be getting the roughly the approximate values because I'm using the Mollier chart. Okay. Now delta H isentropic expansion. Okay. Isentropic expansion. What it is actually, it is H1 minus H2 dash. So similarly, actual expansion. So this will be H1 minus H2. So difference of that 3130 minus 2270.
Sir.
860 kilojoules per kg. then 3130 minus 2695. There's 435. So I got the actual entropy drop and isentropic entropy. Now you closely observe, see, what will be the specific volumes actually? See, they asked us to find the enthalpy drop isentric is between this particular thing, we have found out. The actual enthalpy drop we have found. Now, there is a little bit tricky situation here. How we can find the percentage increase in the specific volume? We all know that as the steam expands, the specific volumes are going to change. Okay. Now, the specific volume of, see, at point 2 and at 2 dash are different slightly. So, the specific volume at 2 dash will be slightly higher than the specific volume at 2 dash. So, to find the specific volume at, see, at this particular point, so what should I do actually? See, specific volume at 2. So, what should I do? I don't know the value of this particular, see, if I call this as x actually, x2, I don't know the value of x2 dash. So I should able to find that x2 dash. So now if you closely observe, your x2 is 0.9, your x2 dash will be slightly lower than 0.9. Okay, even though I have drawn a little bit zoomed value, maybe a figure, maybe it may be 0.8 or 0.82 or 0.75, something like that. And you can check that value from your Mollier diagram. Can you tell me these values? Anyhow, x2 dash. See, the dryness fraction x2 dash from the Mollier diagram. Just what you have to do, you have to draw a vertical line from point 1 and wherever it meets 0.1 bar. So wherever you got that x2 dash value, no, that particular x to x value you get it, that is your x2 dash.
Around 0.86, sir.
0.86. Okay, fine. Okay. And x2 is 0.89. Oh, sorry, 0.9 already is given in the numerical. Now, what is how to find the specific volume? See, what you have to do, go to your steam tables at 0.1 bar. Okay, at 0.1 bar from the steam tables. From the steam tables at 0.1 bar, get this value, maybe VS2. Whether you can do that actually, then we'll try to do the compare value by taking directly the value from Mollier diagram.
Sir, can we recheck the dryness fraction, sir? I'm getting something.
Okay, go to your steam tables. Okay, go to your steam tables at 0.1 bar. Look at this, but this is your 0.1 bar. See, this is the pressure is 0.1 bar. Along the pressure point, see, that's the pressure of 0.1 bar. Get the volume, specific volume from the steam tables. It is VG or whatever it may be, not liquid. Specific volume of the steam, maybe dry steam or something. If there are, we maybe leave a specific volume for the liquid, then specific volume for the steam. So you have to get the specific for dry steam. Roughly around 13, 14 APP. How much? Others? Maybe Praveen, Chidambar, anyone, please tell me these values.
$14.6, sir.
14 point?
14.67.
14.67 meter cube per kg. Now what you have to do actually, so the specific volume at 2 actually. So V2 is equal to X2 into this Vs2 and V2 dash is equal to X2 dash into this is Vs2, what we are getting, the dry saturated. That is, first one it is actually, this is 0.9 into 14.67. This is 0.86 into 14.67. So one is around 13.2. 13.2, 203 meter cube per kg. This is 0.86 into 14.67. This is 12.61 or 62. 12.62 meter cube per kg. This is what we got from the stream tables. Now, what you do actually, you go to your Mollier diagram. There are specific volume terms. So if you closely look at it, actually, there are specific volume terms which will be going something like this. This will be almost like slightly steeper than your pressure lines. Slightly, it will be in a dotted actually. So just look into that particular lines and get the values at this 2 dash and 2 and compare with these two values. Okay. From, let me write, from Mollier diagram, V2 dash is how much? Sorry, V2 is how much and V2 dash is how much? So by the time you wrote that, so percentage increase in specific volume is equal to actually V2 minus V2 dash divided by V2. V2 dash. Okay, so this is 13.2 minus 12.62 divided by 12.62.
Sir, from Mollier chart, we are getting 10, sir.
You are getting
10, sir.
10, huh?
Yes, sir.
V2 how much?
Sir,
V2
P2.
you are getting how much? 10, huh?
10, sir. From Mollier
No,
chart.
it can't be that much. That's why I told no, roughly around 10. That's why I see huge difference will be there because specific volume lines, they are very spare actually. So you'll be having one value here and other value somewhere else. So that's why when you try to take the specific volume from Mollier diagram, there's a lot of error involved.
Yes, sir.
So that's why, so specific, whenever the specific volumes are involved, it's better to take from the stream tables. Okay, what about V2 dash? Is lower than that, 9 or something? What about others? Santrup? Anand?
Getting around 8, sir.
8 some change. Yeah, that's why I say a lot of error is involved here. Around 8 to 9.
Yes, sir.
Even I checked it
Sir.
actually. So if you try to do this particular value from the Mollier diagram, so a lot of error is involved. But the better values, get the X value and get the take the your specific volume for a dry stream from your stream tables, and then do the multiplication and get this. This will give a better value compared to you are taking X value from the Mollier diagram and multiplying by your specific volume for the dry stream from the your stream tables. So this it's error. So maybe errors involved are more. That's why. So anyhow, that's also one of the methodology. Either you can take it from Mollier diagram or this thing. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So why I took this particular problem is actually, see, even though you have a straightforward problem, so even though you have a straightforward, looks like a straightforward problem, but intermediate point, they are given something to confuse you, and how to get the specific volume values from the Mollier diagram as well as from your steam. Okay, let's try to look into one more simple problem. It's something like this. Steam enters a four-stage impulse turbine at 20 bar 315 degrees Celsius and exhausts at 1.35 bar dry saturated. Assuming the useful heat drop in each stage to be approximately the same, estimate the average stage efficiency and reheat factor. Assume the condition line to be either linear or straight line. That's the meaning of it. That means the solution, if I go for the solution, if I try to draw the HS diagram or TS diagram, so let me draw the HS diagram itself. So this is my HS diagram, enthalpy, entropy diagram. So if I try to draw the dome here, so this is more flatter. Okay, I have a dome. Then if I try to draw the pressure lines, okay, he's telling that it's a four-stage impulse turbine between 20 bar and maybe 1.35 bar. So I have four stages in between that. So if I try to draw the four stages, means there are five pressure lines. Okay. So five pressure lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Five pressure lines. Okay. So now if I try to draw the isentropic expansion, it is coming something like this. So it's a simple vertical line from a 20 bar line to your 1 point. So this is your isentropic expansion for pressure 20 bar. This is for pressure is equal to 1.34. But for 20 bar 315 degrees Celsius means actually it's a superheated condition line. That's the meaning of it. That means your constant pressure line, that is, sorry, temperature line, 3 and 15 degree lines is going on. So this is my point 1. So that is the point 1. It's expanding. So what is it telling that? See, at 1.35 bar it is dry. That means at this condition it is dry. So you have stages. See, first stage, second stage, third stage, and fourth stage. So four stage, and what is it telling that? The line between, that means it's a linear. That is the point. This point is what I am calling. Okay, this is completely linear in nature. That's the meaning of it. It is straight line. It is not a curve. It's a linear. So in between points, if I try to mark, this is your point 2, this is 3, this is your 4. So at any given point, I can simply draw the corresponding lines. Okay, I can draw a lines. Okay, this lines I can draw. So this is your stage at any given point. So I can draw a vertical line, then an horizontal line, a vertical line, an horizontal line. So or like I can show it actually how this is going on. A vertical line, an horizontal line. So at each and every given point, see, this is your 2 dash, this is your 3 dash, 2 dash, then yeah, this I can call it as, if I call this as 3 dash, I can call this as 3 dash, 3 double dash, then 4 dash, 4 double dash, then if I call this as 5 dash, 5 double dash. That means each and every point, see, this is individual isentropic. See, if I try to tell what is the isentropic expansion, a complete single stage expansion is from 1 to 5 double dash. And maybe at each stage, what's happening? 1 to your 2 dash. Okay, 1 to 2 is actual, 1 to 2 dash. Then 2 to 3 dash is your isentropic, 2 to 3 is your actual. 3 to 4 is actual, 3 to 4 dash is isentropic. 4 to 5 dash is isentropic, 4 to 5 is your actual. And all are between this pressure lines between 20 bar and your 1.3, 1.35 bar. I'm trying to add it. Okay, now let's go to your isentropic, maybe what we call it as your Mollier chart. Okay, from the Mollier diagram. See, now onwards, I'll try to use more Mollier diagram and less of steam tables. Wherever it's required, we'll try to use the steam tables. So, from the Mollier diagram, so corresponding to H1. So just go to this H1, draw a vertical line. H1 is equal, that is at 20 bar, 350 degree, wherever it's going to touch. So draw a vertical, draw an horizontal line here. You'll get your H1. So similarly, so at this particular point, see, you got this H5 double dash, draw an horizontal line. This is H5 double dash. So get this value. H5 double dash is how much? H1 is how much? Praveen and Deepak, please. Praveen.
Yes, sir, I am there.
Deepak. Easy, it's easy to get the value of H1.
Sir.
So one of you tell me the H1 value, other one can tell me the H5 double dash value. Who can tell the values? I mean, what happened? Did you get the value or not?
Getting it, sir.
Huh?
Sir, H5 double dash, is it 3075, sir?
3075
75.
H1.
H5 double dash, sir.
H5 double dash. What about H1?
I will see.
Others? Samsuptan Jason, whatever the value is telling is right?
H1 is 3080, sir.
H1 is
around 3100. Okay, fine. Roughly 3080.
H5 is 2680.
26?
H5, sir.
2680, what?
Yes, sir.
Around 2680. Okay, fine.
H5 double
What you
dash.
are going to get from your Mollier diagram is approximately. Yeah, I may get 2680, other may get 2700. The values, how did you get Praveen 3000? So you know how to draw it. Check it actually. See, this is my HS diagram. See, this is your steam tables. What you have to do, you move along this 20 bar line and you have your temperature line. So this is your temperature 315 degrees. This is your P is equal to 20 bar. Wherever it's going to intersect, this is the point. From there, you draw an horizontal line, you will get your H1. Okay. Now, similarly, you have your pressure 1.35. So, roughly, you may get 1.5 bar, slightly just below that. Okay. Somewhere you will get it. So, draw a vertical line from there. Okay. From there, and draw an horizontal line here. You will be getting your H5 double dash. Simple. You have to practice. What, Praveen and Deepak? Huh?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Don't practice now, maybe in the examination it will be difficult for you. That's fine. So we'll go ahead with H1 minus H2. Then what is the enthalpy drop? So therefore, the actual, that is your isentropic enthalpy for the single stage is equal to H1
Sir.
minus H5 double dash is equal to 3080 minus 2680. So this is your isentropic enthalpy drop for a single stage. So around 400 kilojoules per kg. So now, see, it's clearly given in the steam, maybe in the problem statement, that the final condition of the steam is dry and saturated at 1.35. So 0.1 and 5 I am trying to join with a straight line. Okay. So what is your internal efficiency? Just we have defined. What is the internal efficiency? How can I do that? If we just go back, what is the internal efficiency R? Efficiency I. Just we defined in the last class. So the internal efficiency I is equal to, what is it actually? You remember or not? First definition. Delta HI by delta H isentropic. That is your actual expansion to isentropic expansion. Are you getting? So it is nothing but delta HI to delta H isentropic. That is your actual expansion to isentropic expansion. So your actual expansion is H1 minus H5 dash, H5 double dash. Now what is expansion? What you have to do? You have to draw a vertical line. See, draw an horizontal line with respect to 0.5. So get your H5. Okay. From the molar diagram, get the value of H5.
Sir, I think there was a confusion.
Yeah.
H5 is 2680.
H5 is 2680. Wow.
Yes, sir. H5 double dash is
2680.
H5 double dash is 2500.
2500. Okay. Then this number is going to change.
That will be 580, sir, not 400.
This will be 580. Okay, 580, and this will be 400. Okay, so delta H actual will be H1 minus H5 divided by H1 minus H5 dash. Okay, 3080 minus your 2680 divided by 2080 minus 2500. This is your internal efficiency. So 400 by 580. So it is 0.68 or 0.69, 69%. 0.69. So this is your internal efficiency. If you go back, we try to build a relationship between your internal efficiency and your stage efficiency based on your reheat factor. So based on your reheat factor. So now, so they are given the, estimate the average stage efficiency and the reheat factor. So now, see the reheat factor I have been telling you. If you go back and see that, a reheat factor depends on, maybe in the first class I was telling you that a reheat factor is between your dry steam or dry saturated steam and your superheated steam. Okay. Now, this is your internal efficiency. The reheat factor, the factor, it varies from a value of 1.04 to 1.16. So this is for a dry steam to superheated steam. Hope you remember that we were drawing some curves and all, where we are having the reheat factor on the y-axis and the stage efficiency on the your x-axis. Hope you remember. I think I'll just go to that. What you have to do? Yeah, this is the one. So now it all depends on your degree of superheat. Okay. Now, if your degree of superheat is more, the number will be higher. If the degree of superheat is less, the number is slightly lower. So what you have to do here, for the 20 bar, what is your saturation temperature?
Two 2800, sir.
28?
Sorry,
No,
one
no,
second.
your saturation temperature.
212,
For
sir.
20 bar, what is your saturation temperature?
212. 212, sir.
212.
Yes,
So roughly around
Yes, sir.
100 degrees is the delta T. Okay, because
sir.
315 is what they are given in the problem statement. So 212. So 315 minus 212, 103 degrees, or roughly 100 degrees the delta T superheat. Now, I should be able to see, depending upon your delta T, which is 100 degrees. So this will become more steeper and steeper. See, I've been telling you that this will become more steeper and steeper. The maximum I can go is 1. Okay, this will go, see, this will become more steeper and steeper. I'll be going towards more steeper and steeper. I should ensure that for this particular delta T, it's a trial and error kind of a method. Or simply, roughly for a reheat factor of between 1.04 and 1.16. Between this, for a delta T of 100 degrees Celsius, I should be able to fix your RF. And once I fix this RF, I'll be able to get your corresponding saturation or corresponding stage efficiency. So if I go and take the reheat factor roughly, I want you people to do this exercise. So let me take some reheat factor. So roughly, let me assume that reheat factor either by see, this is actually they try to get this using a trial and error method. Using a trial and error method by plotting that particular curve. So by trial and error method, by trial and error method, the reheat factor, I can go with either 1.05 or 1.06, whatever it may be. Let me go with a value of 1.05. You have to check this particular, whether whatever the value I'm assuming is fine or not. 1.05. So the relationship between your stage efficiency, which is equal to, okay, the stage efficiency is equal to, we have that definition. So we have defined that the stage efficiency is equal to your internal efficiency divided by reheat factor. So this is I'm making an assumption by trial and error method. Either I can get it from the plot, or I can make an assumption between your 1.04 from a dry saturated condition to 1.16, or I can go for 1.1 also, doesn't matter. I am making an assumption. Two choices, either I go with the assumption or go for a trial and error plot or whatever it may be. So the number should be between this 1.04, and you should justify why I'm taking that. That's all. I'm taking 1.05, or I can take 1.1, so it doesn't matter. If I take 1.1, the stage efficiency will come down. If I take 1.05, the stage efficiency may increase. So this is equal to 0.69 divided by 1.05. So that is your stage efficiency. So which is 0.66.
65, sir.
657. Okay, I can take 1.66. See, this is your, see, why I'm taking this particular thing. See, if I take 1.05 multiplied by your delta H isentropic, that shows the cumulative heat drop. This is around roughly 580. Okay, so 580 is the cumulative heat drop what I'm trying to get. So H1 minus your, maybe, see, the advantage is actually once I get the stage efficiency, I'll be able to get for each and every stages what is the enthalpy drop. See, from this particular thing, the cumulative heat drop, see, cumulative heat drop is equal to your reheat factor into delta H isentropic. So that is roughly around how much? 500? Yeah, 580. That is 1.04 into 580. 1.05 into 580. So it depends on your, so roughly around
609, sir.
609 kilojoules per kg. This is your cumulative efficiency. See, now this work is shared between 4 stages. We have 4 stages, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this work is shared between 4 stages. This is a cumulative heat drop since the work is shared between 4 stages. Then what will be the isentropic drop for each stage? Then therefore isentropic per stage is equal to 609 divided by 4. How many number of stages you have? That many number of stages. So here it is 4. So roughly I'll be getting around 152. Okay. This is 152.5 kilojoules per kg. So this is your isentropic, and that is your 1 to 2 dash. You know the enthalpy of this particular thing. Now from the stage efficiency, this thing, what is your stage efficiency? Stage efficiency is equal to H1 minus H2 divided by H1 minus H2 dash. See, this is nothing but all of H1 minus H2 dash. Okay, H1 minus H2 dash, H2 minus H3 dash, H3 minus H4 dash is equal to H4 minus H5 dash. Because all these enthalpy drops are same. Isentropic enthalpy drops are same. So then I can easily find what is H1 minus H2. Okay, so this is equal to H1 minus H2 is equal to, what is your stage efficiency, which is found to be 0.66 into 152.5. This is your enthalpy drop, actual enthalpy drop of first stage. 0.5, which is 100.65
100.65,
joules per kg. See, all these are based on your assumptions, what you are doing with respect to reheat factor. If I take a reheat factor to be 1.1, then things are going to change. So that's why, so the reheat factor, I told that it can be obtained from either drawing the trial and error method, drawing that particular plot, or making an assumption between the reheat factor between 0.04 to 1.16. So from these two methods, I'll be able to get it. So whatever the different efficiencies we look into, Those efficiencies we are trying to apply and get these numbers. Is that clear? So there are a few more problems are there in your